going on, everybody? Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie, and welcome to episode 303 of Cocktails in the War Room. Is that where we're at right now? Freaking insane. Did we lose the show? We're going right now, right? Can you go? There's the comments. All right. What's up, Jonathan, Alexis, Michelle, and Bish? Travis is here. Kim and Joshua. Alicia joining us. I'm your host, Mistress Carrie. Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. We get together every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and my official YouTube channel. We have been doing it now for hundreds of episodes, and we're almost at our 5-year anniversary. It all started on March 14th of 2020. We were together 80 nights in a row, riding out the peak of the pandemic, and then we turned Cocktails in the War Room into a weekly show, which is what it is now. Every Tuesday night, we get together, talk about the Mistress Carrie podcast, talk about music, talk about the world. We're our support group. And of course, we are also the place where you go to gawk at the pugs. So if you are new to Cocktails in the War Room, allow me to introduce you to Friday and to Wednesday the Goth Pug, which is where you can find both of them on Instagram at Wednesday the Goth Pug. That's basically yes, I know. We're talking about you. Exactly. They have been wound up like this all day. So just if you're watching, this is what you get. This is what it sounds like at the house all the time. Squeaky toys, ripped apart. This one is almost dead. This tropical drink that Wednesday has had for quite some time is on its last leg right now because Friday has been ripping it apart. So what's up, Donna? She says, hey, Wednesday, Friday, family, happy Tuesday. Dina is here. Eric says, hola, bitches. Bish says, fuck it, we will do it live. I know I hit the wrong button and started showing you guys pictures of my Mistress Carrie tour of Boston with Tim Montana that I was going to tell you about. We should have a 5-year anniversary dinner get-together. Jonathan, I have been looking into options on what we can do to celebrate our 5-year anniversary. I have to get through this weekend first, which I will tell you guys about in a minute. And then, I am definitely looking into options on how we can celebrate our anniversary for sure. So Carol joining us. She says, hey, MC, Friday and Wednesday. Eric says, don't mind me for being late. My dog, Becca, curb stomped my goodies, American History X style, a few minutes before the show. Ow, Eric, that hurts. Although, that scene, I knocked a tooth out when I was a kid, and that scene in American History X, I cannot watch it. I cannot. That movie is hard for me to watch anyways, just because of the content. But that scene in particular, I have a really hard time with. What's up, Keith? Brett says, just got back from the gym. Nicely done. Bragging about your motivation on a cold, windy January day. If you've got the gumption to be able to get to the gym, all the power to you. Mr. Voorhees says, hey, all, hope everyone is doing well. Sherry says, hello, family. Joshua said, it's an amazing scene. I can't watch it. There are certain things that I have a really hard time with. Stuff that like torture stuff when it comes to the mouth. And I have a really hard time watching scenes where like a woman is being like assaulted in movies. I understand that, especially if the storyline requires it. I just have a really, really hard time watching it. So Shane says, at my mom's, and she can hear you coming through my phone. She says, is that Mistress Carrie? Credit for getting me into AAF when I was young. Way to go, Shane's mom, you badass. Donna says that was one of the most traumatic scenes I've ever seen. Yeah, there's certain things that I have a really hard time. And I wonder for the actors, because there are so many different styles of acting. And I wonder when you're doing really serious stuff like that, how the actors are able to do it and have it not like stay with them. Like I know that Leonardo DiCaprio, when he made like Django Unchained, like having to say some of those things, I just don't know how you do that. I understand that's what they do for a living, but I would have a really hard time with some of that stuff. And like I said, like I can watch, violence, I can watch war movies, that kind of stuff. But when it comes to stuff with like the face, have you guys seen that new Max show, The Pit? It's based on an emergency room, I believe in Pittsburgh. Noah Wyle is in it, who played Carter on ER, which was a show that I grew up watching and absolutely loved. Having grown up, you guys know, like the daughter of a nurse, I have always watched hospital dramas with my mom. Grey's Anatomy, ER, St. Elsewhere. My mom loved when I was a kid, so I grew up watching that with her. And so this new show, The Pit, is like 4 episodes in. What's interesting about this show that I started watching, which I love, by the way, and because it's on Max, like they can show nudity, they can swear, whatever. But it's kind of like 24, where every episode is an hour, kind of in real time. So it's kind of interesting following the storylines of an emergency room in an inner city. But there was a scene where a bike messenger hit a car because the guy like opened his door into the bike lane and he smashed his face. And there was this scene like last week where the guy's like face, especially because of my motorcycle accident, like that he had broken like his orbital bones, and they like stuck their fingers up inside the guy's mouth and like popped this part of his face back up. I almost threw up on the dogs. I was like, I was not prepared for that. But if you're looking for a good show, it's only like 4 episodes in. And if you like hospital dramas and stuff, there's a storyline about some siblings handling an elderly parent with dementia. And that storyline has been kind of difficult for me to watch for obvious reasons. But it's a really, really good show. Christine says The Resident is so good. I haven't watched that, but I love hospital dramas, so I may have to check that out. Voorhees says it's important to portray vile stuff like that so that people don't forget. I 100% agree with you. I just don't know how you do it. Like, I don't know how you play a Nazi in a movie. I don't know how you play a racist in a movie. I'm trying to imagine, which is why I guess I'm not an actor, having to prepare yourself for those really emotional scenes. How, as a male actor, or a female actor for that matter, how you go about preparing yourself for an assault scene. I know that they have intimacy coordinators and people to make sure that everyone kind of understands what's going on and they respect the actor's privacy and dignity and all of that. I just mean mentally, like how you prepare to be that terrible of a human being. And then how do you leave it at work? Like, how do you shake it off at the end of the day and kind of leave it? Because I think that is part of the skill of acting, is being able to not take it home with you. I think in any job, I think first responders, military personnel, people that work inside prisons, to be able to kind of find a way to like leave it. I've heard people say that they leave it with the uniform. So like at the end of the day, they choose not to wear their uniforms home. You know, kind of like when Mr. Rogers would change when he went in the house. And so that kind of mental disconnect, that when you're taking the uniform off, you're kind of leaving whatever day you had, whatever bad thing happened, you're like leaving it there so that you don't bring it home to your family. I don't know. I mean, if it, you guys, I know there's a lot of military and first responders that are here in the war room. So Norton said that playing Derek Vineyard had a lasting effect on him, says Joshua Smith. That does not surprise me at all. I just, I give them all the credit in the world because I just don't know how to mentally like do that. What's up, Rachel? Emil says new show called Watson starting soon. I heard about that, but I haven't watched it yet. But I'm always looking for a good binge show. Over New Year's, my family was here, and obviously we had just gone through my mom's services, and we started binging Lost again, and I fully got sucked in, and then I haven't watched it since New Year's. Just I forgot how many episodes there were, but I used to love that show. Shane says Mariska Hargitay Benson from SVU said that she had a hard time doing some of those things that she had to do early on, but kind of trained herself to leave it at work. Shane, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, obviously it's a skill that you have to learn in acting school, or it's just something that you learn by doing. But I just don't know how you do that. Alicia says you have to watch New Amsterdam on Netflix. I will totally do that. Like I said, I'm always looking for shows like that to watch. So, but that scene in the pit, if you end up watching the show, it's only like 4 episodes in. And I think it's a really cool idea that it follows one shift in an emergency room in an entire season, right? Because it's every hour. The storylines are kind of insane. People really typecast people in certain characters. Like Paris Hilton really isn't that dumb blonde bimbo. She's actually insanely talented and smart, said Eric. Look, there are actors that I hate in real life because of the characters they have played. People that if I saw them on the street, I would have to like fight back the urge to punch them. Like the Attorney General in Yellowstone, the brother, the son, Kevin Costner's adopted son. I forget his character's name. I hate him. Like with every fiber of my being, I hate that guy. And there are just some shows that character, I'm just like, I don't care what else you do. I hate that guy. And I just watched Interstellar the other day, and that guy from Yellowstone, whose name I can't remember, that I hate so much, was in Interstellar. And I was like, he's an astronaut in Interstellar, and I still hate him because of Yellowstone. The Good Doctor is a fantastic show, says Emil. On my list to watch shows, says Janine. I would love to meet Kelly Riley in real life. Eric, I love her because she played Beth Dutton. Like, I remember Beth's name. I just don't remember the brother's name. But like, I want to drink with Beth Dutton. Now, the woman who plays her, Kelly Riley, is like British and she's like quiet. I want to drink with Beth Dutton. Like, her and I need to hang for sure. And it goes the opposite. There are characters that I love so much that I automatically love the actor. They could be a total asshole, but I'm like, they were kind of cool in that show. I think I love them. So Jerry says Jeffrey Dean Morgan from Walking Dead. See, Jerry, this is where we split, right? I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan because of Grey's Anatomy, because he played Denny in Grey's Anatomy. So when I saw him on The Walking Dead, I was like, no, he can't be a bad guy. He was on Grey's Anatomy. I love him. So I'm very conflicted about that, but you know, that's a girl thing, I think. Chuck from Landman is excellent. I heard Landman's great. I haven't started watching it, but I heard it's great. The woman that Jamie was sleeping with, I was so happy when they whacked her. So Rick, have you guys watched Lioness, which is another Taylor Sheridan show? Because that woman that Jamie was sleeping with, the corporate attorney that you're talking about, Rick, Taylor Sheridan has a habit of using the same characters in some of his shows. And that woman is in Lioness. And as soon as I saw her on the screen, I wanted to kill her all over again. And she doesn't even play a bad person. But because I hated her so much on Yellowstone, I was like, but Lioness is really good. That's 2 seasons in. And it's really, I love that show. It's really, really good. Yeah, Emil says Lioness. Yeah, it's really good. Landman is a must watch, says Joshua. I've seen the previews for Landman and it's impressive. I have heard it's great. I just haven't watched it. Richie says, hey, just dropped by to say hi, Carrie. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Richie. Let's see. How about Jim Carrey from The Number 23? I don't think I saw that movie. I don't think I saw that. Rachel says Lioness, Yellow Jackets, and Outlander are on my list. Outlander's great. I loved it. Outlander is one of the only shows that I know of where both sides of a married couple agreed that they loved the show. Like there's enough romance, but there's enough history. There's enough war and violence, but there's enough love story. And like, yeah, that Outlander was fantastic. Mark Strait says Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone is also great, really funny. I haven't watched that yet. She was also in 1883. I watched that one, and was it 1923 was the other one? I watched that one too. Mark Strait says Billy Bob rocks Landman. His wife is a screech. I don't even know what that means, but okay. What's up, Michelle? Sherry just pops on and says Blueberry Cobbler. Let's see. Just saw the Bob Dylan movie today. Terrific flick. A Complete Unknown, talking about the biopic with Timothy Chalamet. I have not watched it yet, but it did get nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. So let's see. Walter, change it to Landman, says Mr. Cole. So anyway, not to get off on a tangent, I don't even know how we even started talking about, we were talking about that scene in the pit with the face and can't. Why did somebody have to bring up American History X and the curb stomping? That's what got us on this whole tangent. I need to finish the first season of Shogun. I just heard about Paradise today with Sterling K. Brown, this Is Us, and it looks fantastic. He's a great actor. I love that guy. Jessica says, Papa Roach just dropped their new single, and it was very impressive. So Jacoby Shaddix is saying that the new album might not come out until early 2026. They haven't decided or announced when it's coming out yet. But yeah, there's new Papa Roach, there's new Dorothy, there's new Shinedown, obviously. There's new Rise Against. There's a lot of new music coming out right now, which is crazy. Let's see. Allie Larder plays the wife on Landman. All right, I'm going to have to watch that. Emil also says the Led Zeppelin documentary is coming out soon. So Becoming Led Zeppelin hits IMAX on February 7th, and it hits theaters on February 14th. If you go to becomingledzeppelinfilm.org, .com, sorry, becomingledzeppelinfilm.com, you can watch the trailer. They released some live footage of a Zeppelin show in Denmark on St. Patrick's Day in 1969. It's black and white, but the way they've restored this audio, it's unbelievable. It was up on Instagram today. But you can watch the trailer for the documentary. You can also find theaters that are playing the Led Zeppelin documentary, and you can also order tickets online. So that's becomingledzeppelinfilm.com. Let's see. Bish says Jelly Roll and Kane Brown has a new song, and it's highly recommended. Jelly Roll is legit everywhere. He's going to be on Fire Aid on Thursday night from Los Angeles, which is going to stream on all the streaming platforms. That's the big benefit concert they're doing. Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Green Day. It's going to be massive. That show coming up on Thursday. Hey, Carrie, how is Wednesday and Friday? Well, Sherry, I can show you Friday. She has now decided that her energy is gone and she is napping. Oh, sorry. Did I wake you? I'm sorry. Did we wake you up? Go back to sleep. It's okay. You're okay. She looks like drunk right now, surrounded by toys. Wednesday's over here, napping too, right? Or do you want to come and say hi? You want to come say hi? they're both kind of sleeping on opposite sides of the couch right now. And I only have one pug cam set up. So Christina says, how's your sis? So she's good. So I wanted to talk to you guys about what's going on later this week. I've been talking about it for a while. This is my husband, Mr. C's, last week in the Marine Corps. And so I'm going to be traveling to go to the big retirement ceremony, and my sister is coming too. So yeah, just be prepared for a partial liver transplant by the end of this whole week, because hundreds of people are flying in for this massive ceremony, which, look, I couldn't be more proud, right? Like a 28-year career, that's insane. So, so my sister is good, but we're going to be spending some quality time together. Hi, do you want to come say hi? Do you want to come say hi to everyone? Your sister's all decked out on the pug cam, so do you just want to be cute and say hi to everyone? Yeah? What are you doing? Hi. Are you being good? Yeah? Okay, I'll let you down. So there you go. Wednesday's good. Let's see. Keith says, what is a liver? Sherry says, congratulations, Mr. C. Will says, congratulations on his retirement. Oh, Jessica, don't you worry. I have plenty of family that's going to house sit and pug sit for me. Don't you worry. The last thing that the dogs are going to do is be lonely and not well taken care of. Trust me, that there are people staying at the house to take care of the pugs, so they'll be spoiled and fine, right? Right? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Leon on YouTube says, oh, what a beautiful pug. I got two. See? The other one's right here. Hi. Right? Do you want to go over there so I can turn your camera on? Let's see. Shane says, will Mr. C make a guest appearance at all? On the podcast? Probably not. I mean, once he retires and we don't have to protect his privacy as much, I don't know. I know that Tim Montana name checked him on the podcast episode. The fact that those two are friends scares the living daylights out of me. But Carol says, congratulations, Mr. C. Jessica says, congratulations on his retirement. Mark Strait says, Semper Fi, Mr. C. Ash says, congrats, Mr. C. Well-deserved retirement. Enjoy. Yeah, it's quite an accomplishment. And so we're just trying to prepare for life after the Marine Corps now, which is going to be kind of insane. So it's going to be good. So speaking of Tim Montana, so you guys have heard me talk on the podcast episode many times and on the radio about the Mistress Carrie tour of Boston. Every once in a while, an artist takes me up on it. But anytime that my friends travel in from out of town or my husband's friends travel in from out of town, I love taking people sightseeing, and not just around Boston, but around Massachusetts, especially to take them up to Salem, but all of the history and everything. So Tim Montana opened up for Myles Kennedy last night at the Brighton Music Hall. And before we did the interview on the podcast last week, I looked on the tour itinerary and I texted Tim and I was like, hey, we're doing this interview. You have a day off in Boston the day before the show. Do you guys want to go sightseeing? And he was like, yes. So Tim Montana gave me two stipulations. He wanted seafood and he wanted nerdy history stuff. So I was like, no problem. So I said, okay, I have a third row of seats in my SUV. It can hold 7 people, including me. And Tim was like, okay, great. There's 4 guys in the band and then the 2 crew guys. So there's 6 of us total, plus me is 7. So that's Tim, the guys in the band and the crew guys. And so I went to their hotel, put the third row seats up, So, and I forgot to take a picture of this, and I'm kicking myself for not doing it. And Tim didn't take a picture either. So I picked these guys up in my Dung Kings tracksuit jacket. I had a box of Munchkins, a bag of Nips, scratch tickets, and what else did I pick them up with? I thought there was one other thing that I had with me. And I got out of the car in my Dung Kings tracksuit with the Nips, the scratch tickets, and the Munchkins. And I was like, are you guys ready to do this? And they were like, what the fuck are we in for? So I made a whole list. So the first thing I had to do was find out how long they wanted to stay out, what time they wanted to eat dinner, because I needed to make, like, I said, do you guys want me to take you out for lunch first? Or do you want to go sightseeing first and then we'll have dinner later? So they opted for dinner later. So I had to make dinner reservations. So I meticulously timed out from their hotel a route through the city to see all of the touristy stuff, and then figured out how much stuff we could see once I parked and we could like walk around. Thankfully, it was warm and sunny out on Sunday. And then what time we needed to leave to kind of be able to get over to the restaurant to go and eat dinner. So they were like, let's go. So they were like, why do you have a bag of Nips? And I was like, because everybody in Massachusetts, like, you go to the Packy and buy Nips. Like, everyone has them everywhere. And scratch tickets and Munchkins. And they were like, oh, we don't need donuts. They fucking ate the Munchkins. Of course they did. So they all pile in the car. I didn't tell them any of the places I was going to take them. I just told them that I made them seafood dinner reservations at the restaurant and that I was going to take them like all around. So I picked them up. I said, have you guys been to Fenway Park? And Tim Montana has done the anthem inside because he did it with Billy Gibbons because he co-wrote that song, This Beard Was Here to Party, from 2013 when the Red Sox won the series. But some of the other guys hadn't. So I took them down Lansdowne Street so we could get this photo op, which, by the way, if you're taking people around and you're looking for a great like Fenway selfie spot, this spot outside like the box office at the House of Blues with, you know, the monster there and the big scoreboard and stuff in center field always makes for a great pic. So I took them there, and then I took them through Kenmore Square, explained to them all about the year of the bombing and how all of the runners got stopped in Kenmore Square after, you know, running 25 miles. I drove them down the marathon route underneath Mass Ave, where you can't go right on Hereford because it's a one-way going the other way. So I went down to Gloucester and then drove them down Boylston, took them to the finish line, showed them the memorials. Then I kind of drove them down through the Back Bay. I showed them the Emerald Necklace, took them down Com Ave, took them around the Public Garden and the Commons. And then I took them over to the Boston Tea Party Museum. So Tim said, hey, can you bring me to a coffee shop or something? I have to do like a 15-minute podcast interview, like on like FaceTime, like on video. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I'm taking you to the Boston Tea Party Museum and we can sit down and have tea and wait for you. And he was so excited about it. He was like, that's what I'm talking about. So we went down the waterfront. I found a place to park on the street. And of course, I got a car full of these guys from like Montana and whatever. And they're trying to critique my parallel parking skills, which, let's be honest, are flawless, right? When you grow up around here, you can parallel park with the best of them. So I took them into the Tea Party Museum, which they all loved. And as soon as we walked in, who do we bump into but the entire crew from Miles Kennedy, who just happened to be out sightseeing randomly, and they were in the gift shop at the Tea Party Museum. So we took them, we went in, and guys, I'm telling you, like, if you're walking around Boston, this is a hidden gem. Those cups that we have are bottomless cups. It's $4.50. You can go inside. They have colonial board games on all the tables. They have, you know, like actors there that can answer questions for you. In the summertime, you can sit out on the deck. There is a ship where they actually reenact, like, you can pay to like toss tea in the harbor. So we sat there while Tim Montana did an interview or whatever. and they were trying all the different kinds of teas. They all ended up buying teacups for their wives in the gift shop. So Tim and I decided to take this picture outside the Tea Party Museum. So then we drove from there to the North End, parked in the North End, and I took them to the Old North Church. I took them down some of those little side streets in the North End that have like all the old, like the old alleyways that look like they did 300 or 400 years ago. Took them to Paul Revere's house, took them to Mike's Pastry, obviously, showed them Modern so that they could decide the next time they come to town. Then we walked through the Greenway. We went over to the Green Dragon, which is where the revolutionaries met in secret in the basement to plan the revolution. Voorhees says, you found a place to park on the street in Boston. What the F? Voorhees, that's how good I am. I'm telling you, I have good parking spot mojo. But yes, on a Sunday afternoon on the waterfront, I found street parking. Travis says, did you go to the Hood milk carton? We were right next to it, and I pointed it out to the guys. So then we walked all through the Greenway. We went to the Green Dragon. We had a beer at the Green Dragon, and they learned all about the revolutionaries and meeting there. I took them to the Bell in Hand. Then we walked through the Holocaust Memorial because yesterday was Holocaust Remembrance Day, and I wanted to show them the Boston Memorial, which is breathtaking. Then we walked up to the old State House, the site of the Boston Massacre, so I showed them that. And then we walked through Quincy Market, where we bumped into Miles Kennedy's crew again. They literally left the Boston Tea Party Museum and then went to Quincy Market, and we bumped into them. So we walked all through Quincy Market, all through like the Greenway. I showed them the beam from the upper deck that they left in the sidewalk, and then went back to the car. Then I took them over to the Great Molasses Flood Memorial that's down on Commercial Street. Told them all about the molasses flood, which they were like, what? They're all Googling the flood. They're like, she's not even kidding. This really happened. Then I took them over to the waterfront again and took them to the Mass Fallen Heroes Memorial, which if you haven't been down there and seen it is beautiful. And then I took them to Legal Seafood to on the waterfront to eat all of the seafood. And they were eating clam chowder and oysters and lobster rolls and like, could not have been happier. So Keith says, did you go to Bova? I didn't because we were going to dinner. And so buying all of that stuff, they didn't have a place to put it. But I did tell them about Bova because a lot of these guys end up, at shows or whatever, and they don't know where to go and eat after. And I was like, hey guys, just a little inside tip. This place down the street right there is open 24 hours. So if you guys ever need late night food in Boston, there you go. So this is us right here having a beer inside. Right, there you go. That's us having a beer at the bar inside the Green Dragon, which they loved. They were all drinking the Green Dragon beer. Tim, I think, was like, I got to have a Sam Adams. I'm in Boston. Voorhees says, Heresy, Modern is better than Mike's. I took him to both. I showed him Brico, the alley to go down and get those delicious prosciutto sandwiches down that alley down there. I was like, look, you can decide where you want to go, but Brett says, thank you for remembering the Holocaust. Brett, that memorial. So as we were walking, right, like we come out of the Green Dragon and I pointed out the glass columns and I said, hey, do you guys see those columns right there with the frosted glass? And they were like, oh yeah, they didn't know what it was. And I was like, by the way, that glass isn't frosted. And they were like, what are you talking about? If you have not seen Boston's Holocaust Memorial, it is, I don't even know how to explain it because awe-inspiring is not the right word because you're not in awe in a good way. It's a very sobering thing because you see it's right next to City Hall, right outside of like Hennessy's and all that. But when you look at it from afar and there's steam that goes up through the 6 glass columns, it looks like it's frosted glass. But each column is etched with 1 million numbers from the Holocaust. But the etching is so small that it looks like the glass is frosted. And then once you get up close to the panels, you see that those are all individual numbers. And I always take people there because it puts in perspective exactly how many people 6 million people is. When you're standing in those glass towers, looking up 30 feet, and the numbers are like this big, and you know that in each column there's a million numbers, it is, it's just something that's really powerful. And, these guys are all, rock musicians and roadies, and they were all taken aback by it. They were like, I never would have known driving by what that was. They were so glad that I showed them that. It was all of like the little details, like the Union Oyster House. And I kind of showed them like all of the little cobblestone streets and was explaining some of the nerdy history stuff. And they were like, wow, like these are things that if we just were wandering around the city. So when we bumped into those guys in Quincy Market, they were like, you guys should have come sightseeing on Mistress Carrie's tour because we learned all kinds of stuff. And one of the guys was like, did you know there was a molasses flood? It was just really funny. So, so then we went on the waterfront and had way too much seafood. And then I took them back to the hotel and I got home at 10 o'clock at night or whatever. And as I was putting the third row of seats back down in my car again, I'm finding all these nips and stuff in my car. Just hilarious. So just some of the pictures that we took from the Mistress Carrie tour of Boston. I asked on Facebook, where else I should be taking people. People said the Sam Adams Brewery, the Garden. Hey, what are you doing? Don't do that. But some of these things, and the USS Constitution was something else that people told me, but that you need to get tickets for. And this was more of we were walking around. And what I was trying to do is find, maybe you guys know, a vantage point that you can, without going through the actual security and whatever. Is there a place that you can see the Constitution and take pictures of it without getting that close? So that you have to go into the park? Is there a place you can see the Constitution lit up after hours that you can at least go and point it out and whatever? Because I don't know where to do that, but that is something that I would like to be able to add that onto the tour. So at least you can go and show it. Bish says the memorial is out by the Bell in Hand. Yeah, it's right next to City Hall, right next to the Bell in Hand. It's right there. Right around the corner from Quincy Market. It's right on the Freedom Trail because the Freedom Trail goes right by the Green Dragon. And when you come out of the Green Dragon and the Bell in Hand, the Holocaust Memorial is right there. Let me see. Christina said if they did a moment of silence for each and every person killed during the Holocaust, it would take 11 years. Exactly. And that memorial, I don't know who's responsible for designing it because the design is so simple and it's very modern in its appearance, but it's very striking and extremely powerful. And I always take people there just because the juxtaposition of it, outside the Union Oyster House, right outside the Green Dragon and the Bell, where all of that stuff is so old. And then you see this very modern thing, and unless you know what it is, you could walk by it and just think it was just this cool art installation until you get a little closer and realize what it is. Ralph says across from the Hyatt Regency there is a bronze plaque commemorating the first telephone call between Bell and Watson. Is there really? I did not know that. That is cool. I also, there's an Edgar Allan Poe statue that's really cool that's down by the Commons that if I get down that way, I always take people to as well. Let's see. Friday's over there. Hey, don't. Here. She's eating the pillow on the couch instead of one of the 15 toys that are here on the couch with us. Did you walk through where the combat zone used to be, Tracy? We didn't walk down by the theater district. We didn't get that far down. We stayed more North End Greenway area. But yeah, it's kind of hard to explain how dangerous and seedy that whole area is now that it's the theater district and all super fancy hotels. It's kind of hilarious. Bish says, Carrie, Saw you guys around town when I took mom out for lunch, but didn't want to bother you guys. Glad Tim had fun. They had an absolute blast. And it was just really cool to be able to, take them out and show them around. So I wanted to show you guys some of the pictures. This is what I'm dealing with right now over here. At least she's playing with the toys and not eating the pillows on the couch again. Here. What's this? Rah. There you go. Eat the toys. Let's see. All right. So, want to remind anybody that is new to the War Room, where you can listen to me on the radio, and there may be a new edition soon. Just saying. 98 Rock, Charleston's best rock. You can hear me every weekday from 10 to 3. You can download the free app or stream the station at my98rock.com. But that's 10 to 3 in Charleston, South Carolina, every weekday. You can also hear me here in Massachusetts on 100 FM The Pike every weekday afternoon from 3 to 7. All this week, you can text in to qualify for a trip for two to Denver to see Metallica's M72 World Tour and the No Repeat Weekend with Pantera and Suicidal Tendencies and Limp Bizkit and Ice Nine Kills. You can download the free Pike app or stream the station at pikefm.com. That's 3 to 7 every weekday. And you can also listen every weekday from 3 to 7 on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine. You can go to 1063thebone.com, download the Bone app, stream the station. And right now, if you go on the website, you can enter to win tickets to see Shinedown and Bush at the TD Garden coming up on July 19th. So some of the places that you can listen for my radio show, and of course, they're all linked at mistresscarrie.com. Some upcoming events. The next Mistress Carrie Grunge Brunch with the Stone Temple Posers is happening March 22nd at City Winery, Boston. They're going to be playing the Stone Temple Pilots Unplugged set. So you can go to the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com and get your tickets. Doors open at 11. Music starts at noon. That is Saturday, March 22nd. And just announced, you can hang out with me all day in downtown Leominster coming up on September 20th at the annual Johnny Appleseed Festival. I'm going to have a big booth set up there. And so the Johnny Appleseed Festival is always like tons of food and vendors and crafts. It takes over all of downtown Leominster, thousands of people. So I am going to be down there setting up a big booth. So that's September 20th in downtown Leominster at the annual Johnny Appleseed, because of course, Johnny Appleseed is from Leominster. So that's why they have the big festival every year. All right, so last week on episode 242 of the Mistress Carrie podcast, Tim Montana was my guest, who obviously was in town last night with Miles Kennedy. And it's always great having him on the show. Tim's just such a great guy. He's hilarious. He absolutely loves this part of the country. And he is just an absolute riot and a really great guy. When I showed up to pick him up, he was like, hey, I'm working with this bourbon company and I got a bottle of it because I want you to give it to your husband as a retirement gift. Like, he's just like that way. He's that guy. And then at one point I was FaceTiming with Mr. C so that they could say hi to each other. And then Tim FaceTimed with his wife. And so we were all like FaceTiming each other to say hi to it. He's just such a great guy. Some really, really funny stories on this episode about the behind the scenes shenanigans at Billy Gibbons' 75th birthday party in Los Angeles last month. So if you haven't checked out this episode yet, episode 242 featuring Tim Montana is available now. And something a little different for this week's episode. I told you guys when I launched the Mistress Carrie podcast that I wanted to be able to keep you guys in touch with all of the musicians that you grew up listening to, but that I also wanted to be able to expose you to newer up and coming artists. And one of those artists is actually from Portland, Maine. You may remember him, that American Songwriter show that they had, where they had a representative from each state. I think Snoop Dogg was one of the judges. He represented Maine. His name's King Coyote. He is like a a roots kind of blues Americana artist. His debut album is coming out. He's called King Coyote, and he's from Portland, Maine, and he is a super cool guy. He's a surfer. He has toured with so many amazing like blues greats. Of course, he was on that American Songwriter Contest show. And I found out about him, heard his music, and I was like, yeah, I would love to have him on the podcast. He has got a bunch of dates booked, including a date in Portland this weekend, which I'm so bummed I can't go to because I'm going to be traveling. But he also has got a date in Beverly at the Off Cabot coming up in March. You can go to kingcoyote.com and see all of his tour dates. But this is an artist that is a new artist, but he's also a local artist. And so I really wanted to be able to introduce you guys to him. So his name's King Coyote. The new episode 243, comes out tonight at midnight. These are the new artists that I'm always hoping you guys will give a chance to, that you'll go in and listen to their music on the corresponding playlist for the episode. And if you like it, it's an artist that maybe you'll turn some of your friends onto, that you'll share this podcast episode with friends that you know that are always looking for new music to listen to. Maybe you could go to the club and go and see him, and just really trying to support local musicians. And because, of course, his hometown is where I'm on the radio in Portland on the Bone, I absolutely wanted to have him on the show. So Donna says, Mistress Carrie, world domination. Absolutely. Alicia says, I got my floor tickets to Shinedown and Bush. Nicely done. Will says, shut the front door. How is the Johnny Appleseed rest area, says Will. That is the biggest apple in New England at that rest area. On Instagram, check out Verona Rose out of Central Mass. I totally will. Eric says he is a grassroots rock and he is freaking amazing. So Eric, I'm glad you already know who he is. He's really, really cool. We had a great conversation. We were talking about music and songwriting, and he is a surfer. And when you're a surfer in Maine, that is like a whole different kind of surfer. So we spent a lot of time talking about that. So I'm glad that a lot of you guys already know who he is. And I think if you don't know who he is, I'm really hoping that you guys give him a shot. Check out this week's podcast episode. Listen to the songs in the playlist. By the way, we talked about a lot of different artists, so the playlist for this episode's really, really good. But I hope you fall in love with his music, and anything, that we can do to find these amazing local artists and kind of prop them up a little bit. Super excited to do that. So King Coyote is my guest this week on episode 243 of the Mistress Carrie podcast, which goes live at midnight tonight. Don't forget, if you subscribe to the podcast, not only do you get the full length episodes, but you also get the sit rep Monday through Friday, 5 minutes long, all the rock news, music headlines, entertainment updates. You can listen to it while you're getting ready for work in the morning. You can still be laying in bed and listen because it's not that long, and know everything that's going on in music, and then go about your day. So subscribe to the podcast. Check out the sit rep. The weekly episodes come out every Wednesday. You can listen to the podcast on every major podcast app. You can also just listen to the audio episodes on YouTube. And if that's still too difficult, you can just go to mistresscarrie.com and you can just decide whichever episode you want to listen to, and then just hit play. So there you go. Hold on. I just got an alert about the camera thing. Hold on. I'll be right back. Hold on. I got to double check a cable. Hold on. I gotta double check a cable. Okay, got it. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I just got a little pop-up thing on the screen that was like, you didn't plug something in right, you dummy. The Mistress Carrie podcast, holding strong at 149 countries. Are we ever going to get to 150 countries? I don't know. I hope we do someday. but right now we haven't. If you're celebrating your birthday today, you're sharing it with Rick Ross and the woman that makes you cry during the ASPCA commercials, Sarah McLachlan. So if today's your birthday, cheers. Happy birthday. Happy unbirthday, Keith. Cheers to you. Let's see. Okay, so let's talk about some of the stuff that's going on in music real quick. The Scorpions have announced that they want to give Mickey D more time to recover from his battle with sepsis. So they have postponed their Vegas residency until August. It was supposed to start in March with Buckcherry to celebrate the Scorpions' 60th anniversary. They are still doing it. They're honoring all the tickets, but they've pushed the dates back until August. Aerosmith announced at the end of last week that the band is going to reunite at the Hollywood Palladium on Sunday. Steven Tyler started the Janie's Fund nonprofit years and years ago. This is the 6th annual Jam for Janie, which is a big concert that they do around Grammy weekend. Sorry, I got a hair that's tickling my face. So they've canceled a lot of like the big glamorous celebrity parties around the Grammys because of the fires, obviously. However, this Jam for Janie, it's a charity event, and it's also going to serve as a viewing party for the Grammys. And Aerosmith has announced they are reuniting and are set to perform. How many songs? Is Joey Kramer going to be there? What's Steven Tyler going to sound like? I have no answers to any of these questions, but it made me really happy because even though Tom Hamilton has said that the band is never going to tour again, is it possible for them to kind of do one-off shows? Could Steven Tyler's voice handle that? Because I hated the idea that they were never able to do a Boston farewell show. And if his voice can hold up, then maybe we could get to the point where they could do a big farewell show. And I thought that would be kind of cool. So Aerosmith set to reunite on Sunday night in Los Angeles at the Palladium at the Jam for Janie. And then also Silver Scream Con is slated for the DCU Center September 12th through the 14th. They have not announced any of the lineup of the artists that are going to be there or any of the horror celebrities that are going to be there, but the tickets went on sale yesterday. So I have that ticket link up on the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com. I think last year, 1 or 2 of the days of the weekend sold out. So if you're a horror, a gore, and metal fan, you want to get your tickets to Silver Scream Con. Okay, shows coming to the TD Garden. There are a lot of rock shows coming to the TD Garden. Disturbed, that show completely sold out with 3 Days Grace and Sevendust from March 14th. The Deftones are coming April 8th. Ghost is going to be there July 21st. Linkin Park is going to be there on August 1st. Shinedown Bush and Morgan Wade went on sale this past Friday for that show on July 19th. And tickets to see Nine Inch Nails go on sale tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. That show is August 29th. Obviously, all of these shows are available on the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Donna says, today is my nephew Ray's 24th birthday. Happy birthday, Ray. Jonathan says, quote, tickling your face. I'm going to keep that to myself. Thank you, pervert. Shane says every rock band says they're never going to tour again and then they tour 12 more times. Well, I think with Steven Tyler, though, if you have got a lasting injury, they're not going to tour and let him sound like crap. They're not going to do that. So I am hoping that they might not be able to tour, but you know, Billy Joel has done that residency at Madison Square Garden where he plays like a show a month. And he sold out like 150 shows at Madison Square Garden. I feel like the guys from Aerosmith could do something like that. If he could do a show a month and, you know, do a show in Vegas and then the next month do a show in New York. And seeing Aerosmith go out not in the way that they had intended really bummed me out. So I'm hoping that he'll be able to recover enough where they could say, you know what, we're going to play one more show. And we're going to do it in Boston, and we're going to go out the way we want to go out. And Steven will be able to do a show, and his voice is going to sound great. And I'm hoping that they can do something like that. We were just talking about Silver Scream Con. Tickets went on sale yesterday. Links, everything you need to know on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. This Coal Chamber show in March with Fear Factory, Twisted, Wednesday 13, and Black Satellite postponed until later this year. Des Fafara still dealing with a bunch of health issues. This tour was also slated to be at Aura in Portland. That show is also postponed. The whole tour is postponed. So if you... And that was postponed once already. It was supposed to happen in September. They postponed it to March. Now they're postponing it for later in the year. Rod Stewart and Cheap Trick, Papa Roach and Rise Against with Under Oath, and now Billy Idol and Joan Jett. Those tickets went on sale on Friday, all already scheduled for the Xfinity Center for later this year. When I was driving Tim Montana and the guys around, we went down and turned around in front of the Leader Bank Pavilion. And they were like, what is that? And I was like, oh, that's the big outdoor summer venue or whatever. If you get a chance to play there, you'd probably really love it. So shows coming this week. Kerry King at Royale coming up on the 4th. Jerry Cantrell is also going to be at the House of Blues, which we will talk about in a minute. Billy Gibbons is going to be at the Cabot coming up on February 13th. Dream Theater at the Wang on March 14th. Heart at Foxwoods and the Aganis. AC/DC at Gillette with the Pretty Reckless. Post Malone and his custom Oreos are going to be at Gillette with Jelly Roll on May 31st. Weird Al at the Wang and at Foxwoods coming up in July. Coldplay at Gillette, July 15th and 16th. This just got announced. Incubus is coming back on that Morning View tour that they played the Garden last year. This time around, they're playing Mohegan Sun on June 28th. I believe those tickets go on sale this Friday. And Def Leppard is also going to be at Mohegan on July 3rd. And if you missed it, Vivian Campbell actually released a statement that he wanted to let people know why he missed the first Def Leppard show of the year. If you didn't know, Vivian Campbell from Def Leppard announced back in 2013 that he has Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he's been going through treatment for that ever since. He's 13 years into his treatment. And so Vivian Campbell released a statement saying that the reason why he missed the show is that he just got a bone marrow transplant. He said the transplant went really well. He has to lay low for 100 days, but he's really, really optimistic. And so that is why Vivian Campbell missed the Def Leppard show already. I don't know if he's going to be on the tour and if he's going to be at Mohegan in July, but obviously sending love to Vivian Campbell and just what a long battle. 13 years into your diagnosis and you're getting a bone marrow transplant. It's pretty unbelievable. Speaking of the Leader Bank Pavilion, the Goo Goo Dolls are going to be there July 29th, and you can expect a lot more shows getting announced. The only rock show scheduled for Fenway right now is My Chemical Romance with Idols. That show sold out in about 8 seconds. So if you're lucky enough to get tickets. The Palladium this weekend, Blackberry Smoke is going to be there. The Plot and You will be there March 14th. And Memphis Mayfire will be there on May 10th. Again, all of these shows are on the event and concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Jack White's got 2 shows on the No Name Tour at Roadrunner in Brighton coming up on the 17th and 18th of February. And the MGM Music Hall right now, Joe Bonamassa is on stage. The Dropkicks have got 3 shows before St. Patrick's Day. Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats coming up on March 28th and 29th. Spirit Box, we'll find out on Sunday if they're going to win a Grammy or not. Be the first female to win the Best Metal Performance Grammy. Spirit Box nominated. Poppy is nominated with Knocked Loose, and opera singer Marina Viati is nominated for her performance of Mia Culpa Oseira with Gojira that they did at the Olympics. And then rounding out the metal nominations this year is Metallica and Judas Priest. So 3 out of the 5 nominees have women in them. So this could be a metal record-breaking year if a woman wins the Best Metal Performance Grammy, which is huge. Trivium and Bullet for My Valentine at the MGM Music Hall coming up on May 2nd. Queens of the Stone Age, their rescheduled shows from September are happening June 10th and 11th, and the Pixies are going to be there for 2 shows, July 18th and 19th. Let's see. Rachel says that is awesome that they found a bone marrow match for him. Kickstand on Instagram says hi from Calgary. Watching on Instagram right now. Let's see. Rachel says, oh, Coheed and Cambria scheduled for August at the MGM with Taking Back Sunday. No, the Fenway Music Hall, that's the MGM. That's not Fenway. It's the MGM Music Hall at Fenway where Coheed's playing. But that's not actually Fenway Park. That's the MGM at the end of Lansdowne Street. House of Blues shows. Jerry Cantrell's going to be there this weekend. The Dropkicks on St. Patrick's Day. The aforementioned Poppy on April 4th. The Used playing 3 different albums on 3 different nights. And Marilyn Manson. These tickets went on sale this past Friday. That show on May 10th. A lot of happenings in Quincy and a huge parade on June 14th for the city's 400th anniversary, says Ralph. 1625 to 2025. That's crazy. That is going to be insane. I remember 1976, the bicentennial. I got to find this picture. My grandmother made me this little patriotic, like colonial girl outfit. And I have a picture like standing on the side of the road with like an American flag at the bicentennial parades. That was celebrating 200. That's celebrating 400 now. That's crazy. Paradise Rock Club, Quicksand's going to be there in March. Linda Linda's in April. Melvin's and Napalm Death coming up on May 8th. And what other shows? There were some other shows I wanted to talk to you guys about. Obviously, the Grunge Brunch at City Winery Boston. And we've got more of those that are getting announced too. And I am slowly working on expanding the Grunge Brunch as well. So you can expect a lot of new happenings happening in 2025. We have been working on some really cool ideas and events. Don't forget Record Store Day is coming up on April 12th. And mail call this week. Hey! Sheesh. Got this from Penny. May love surround you. May caring thoughts support you. And may memories bring you comfort. Sending my deepest condolences to you and your family in the loss of your mom. May her memory live for an eternity. Love, Penny. Cocktails in the War Room, OG family. So, Penny, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's weird that it's been over a month already that she's been gone. It's just, it's unbelievable sometimes, you know what I mean? Just how quickly the time is passing. So, this one came in from Dina. Let me find the card. Mary Pugmas. It literally looks like you had the card designed for Friday and Wednesday. Maybe you did. And if you did, I need to know. She says, Merry Christmas, MC Wednesday and Friday. Love, Dina and Michaela. By the way, the Squishmallow is not a dog toy. Everything in my house turns into a dog toy. But the Squishmallow, so squishy. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to keep Friday away from this thing. She loves, like, just gnawing on everything. But I'll show you guys this. Here we fucking go again. The 2025 calendar. Look at this. Get ready for the shit show, January. I'm fine. Everything is fine in February. This is hilarious. It could probably get worse. Dumpster fire in March. This is very cool. And then there is a baggie of dog bones, duckies. Oh, a Beetlejuice ducky. I don't have that one. What's this one? There's a ducky with Christmas accessories to dress your ducks. There's the elf duck. There is, I'm a little bit scared of the toilet. I got to be honest. I don't know what's going on with the toilet, but that's kind of hilarious. And then there is a little bag. It says Merry Christmas. Oh. And it has what looks like coal ducks inside. Hilarious. Oh, wait, this one, is it? Middle finger duck. Girls, do you want a bone? Would you like a new bone? You want me to turn the pug cam on so everybody can see how cute your little faces are? Do you want to sit? Sit down. Sit. Friday, sit down. Good girl. You want this? Wednesday. Here. You want this one? I'm going to put them right there, and you guys can smell them and decide what you want to do. You got prizes sent in the mail. Do you want to say thank you? Huh? What is this? Do you want to eat it? You eat everything. You want to eat it? I'll leave them right there for you. Let me get caught up with the comments. Eric says, Carrie, you're carbon dating yourself with the bicentennial talk. Eric, trust me, I know. I'm not happy about it. Eric says, oh, Friday is going to dominate the squishy. Exactly. Oh, the duck sits on the toilet. Oh, well, that makes sense. I get it now. Rachel says, oh my God, the cuteness. It's because of his vocals being messed up. Wait, are you guys still talking about Aerosmith? I think you might be talking about Aerosmith still. All right. So, want to remind you guys about the Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass. Backstage Pass holders, you still have access to Spirit Box tickets at the MGM Music Hall on April 19th. If you don't have a Backstage Pass yet, you can go to patreon.com. Go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie. Get a Backstage Pass. We do an exclusive live stream once a month. I tell you guys who's coming up on the podcast so you can submit questions. I'm going to be traveling, so of course I'm taking you guys with me. You get the travel blog updates, early access to event information and ticket information. You get concert ticket giveaways, merch discount codes. So go to mistresscarrie.com, click the Patreon button, or just go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie. I want to remind you guys about all of the places that you can find me online, all of the social media links, all the radio stations where you can listen to my show that may be growing. Backstage Pass holders know what I'm talking about. Don't tell anybody. Secrets. Shh. And want to remind you about the Veterans Rock Group on Facebook. 2,100 people and counting. It's a great resource for veterans to be able to get the word out about events. If you've got questions, if you're a veteran-owned business, if you're a business looking to hire veterans, if you are just a civilian wanting to support veterans and get involved with events, or if there's a veteran in your life that you love and you've got questions about resources, just go to Facebook and search Mistress Carrie's Veterans Rock. It's a public group. Join the group, and we monitor it the best we can. But there's a lot of great resources. There's yoga classes and motorcycle rides and just all kinds of great resources that get posted up there all the time. Alicia says, are we having a big gig for this year? So I asked about that. I started asking around. I don't know the answer, but I heard a rumor that the band that they had scheduled to headline had to drop out for whatever reason. So I don't know if the big gig is happening or not. Nobody can give me a straight answer right now. So Rachel says, what secrets? I don't know what you're talking about. Exactly. Eric says, gotta go. Packing for spring training, leaving in a week, and I need to pack for a month. Well, you have a good time. Enjoy Arizona. Absolutely. And for you guys, do not forget, we are off next week because I am still going to be traveling. So no War Room next week. The War Room returns on the 11th. And I'll be able to give you all of the info about my trip. Obviously, Backstage Pass holders, I'm going to be taking you guys with me. So big celebration this week and through the weekend, celebrating my husband's retirement. So Yeah, Mr. Cole says 60s and 70s in Jacksonville this week. I was really worried that the weather was going to be rainy because the ceremony is outside. And so the fact that it's going to be nice is really exciting. So I'm super happy. Wait, did you see the Squishmallow name? No, I didn't. Hold on. Shut up. The Squishmallow has a name. I didn't know that they had names. There's a Carrie Squishmallow? What? No, Dina, I didn't see that until you said that. It's my Squishmallow. No wonder you don't want Friday to eat it. It's me. That is hilarious. Shane says stay hydrated. We need to name the Squishmallow Cobbler. Oh, man. I will have so many stories for you guys. I will pass on all your love and best wishes to Mr. C on a remarkable career, and really looking forward to the big celebration, the big ceremony, all of that stuff. So super excited. All right, guys, I will see you back here in 2 weeks. Keep your eyes on the socials, get a backstage pass, and don't forget King Coyote is my guest this week on episode 243 of the Mistress Carrie podcast that goes live at midnight tonight. So good night, guys. Say good night, girls.